Yeah.
But the idea that Higgsy picks the team, it's Higgsy's team anyway. What do you make of that, Chief?
I would have said that's not true.
Yeah.
I think Higgsy has a big say in things. He's a big character. He's a big personality. But I think Ollie absolutely picks the team, like 100%. James Gallagher worked under Ollie up there, and he's another big character, big personality. The manager's the manager, so I don't really. That's the case. Again, he's obviously he's number 2, so he's got a big say in things, like. But
yeah.
I think Ollie picks the team, but no, just in the overall point, I think with Ollie, I think he should be allowed to question things, because I do think there's a good bit of money being spent on that current squad, and that current squad shouldn't be third from bottom. It's not like the days where there's €50 flying around, where boys getting €50 a week. Let's call a spade a spade. We can chat all we want. There's big investment going into the club. Is it as much as some of the top clubs in the league? No, it's not, but it's still significant. And I would be saying, again, you look at the start we had, it has tailed off. Why? Is it because the expectations are, my biggest gripe with Ollie is the fact that, I know he didn't do it this year, but most seasons he comes out and says, like, it's a miracle if we stay up. But sure, like, that nearly takes pressure off you. If you tell someone, I'm the manager of this team, they're awful. Like, if we stay up, miracle, like. So then, if you do stay up, then people are like, well, he's pulled off another miracle. So you could say that it's quite clever in some ways, that you're not taking that pressure to say we can do better. And I think some Hearts fans just maybe want a little bit more ambition to say, yeah, we can be better, we can improve, we can do things. So it's a broad question. It's hard to. I think Ross's Futsal makes a good point again. He said Ollie can put together a squad better than most other managers, but maybe other managers could get more out of them. A time will come when the coin has to be tossed and see if another path needs to be taken. So, a lot of good comments coming in. So, I don't know what you make of that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair. Well, look, how long does a manager get? How long? Like, we've seen it through, like. Well, if we talk about previous achievements, Columba Malloy makes a point here. It's again a great point. I'm going to read it out here. The lack of respect for Ollie and his achievements are a disgrace. There is still a thing via perception. It's all potluck. I'll ask the question to all of you: where do you think Harp should be finishing in the Premier Division? If you're unsure, take a look at the resources.
4-1 Harps, Chief. Sorry, you can finish the comment. But great finish, ball over the top. You'll see it here again. Again, no pressure on the ball at all. It's a long diagonal ball.
Oh, he's just
there's massive gaps there in the back four. I know Harps are pushing, but look, great finish. But again, very good. But finish your point or comment that Columbo said.
Yeah, okay. So if you're unsure, take a look at the resources and facilities. Both of our nearest neighbours would take one wrong managerial appointment. It would take one wrong managerial appointment, and Finn Harps would be back where they have been for the majority of the past 15, 20 years, the graveyard of the First Division. So I don't know what you make of that, Chief.
Well, I think that sort of plays into Ronan's point about, it's quite a strong response from Columba, like saying it's a disgrace, the lack of respect. Nobody's having a lack of respect for him. I think everybody acknowledges he's done an incredible job. But there comes to a point where you can still question, right, can we do better? Like, if we can't do better and all we can do is just finish 8th in the Premier Division, what's the fucking point? What is the point? Like, at the end of the day, I think you've got to come to the stage where we can't ask the question, can you do better? And if we can't, we can't. But I definitely think Columba, there's boys getting good money there. They're on good dough. As I say, it's not back in the day where there's €50 a week. There's investment in that squad. I think quite rightly we can ask the question of whether Harps can do better. And I think the investment has been made. They can do better. And I don't think your response is particularly helpful in terms of having a conversation about, Ollie. We're not saying, like, he's been arguably Harp's best ever manager. You think of promotions and things that he's done, and he's done it on a shoestring budget. But now that there's a bit more money going in, surely as supporters you could say, well, can we do a little bit better? We've seen the start of the season. We've seen how we were able to compete. We're not playing in the Champions League where the gaps are massive. Like, okay, you have challenges, full-time teams versus part-time teams. We went to Shamrock Rovers, got a draw. They're brilliant. But then we followed it up with a really inconsistent performance at Derry. We're now getting beat 4-1 against Pat. So I think it's fair to ask the question. That's all I'm saying, Columba. And I don't think, I'm certainly not, and I know Keith's not, like saying, that we lack respect for him, but you should be allowed to question where are we going, because to be honest, like, surely there has to be an ambition to try and get into the top 4 or get into Europe. Otherwise, I'd have to say, what's the point? Like, sport's about trying to compete and trying to improve. And if you just get stuck, then what's the point?
Yeah. So, do you think is there an option where Ollie thinks that maybe I'm struggling here? Do I need to get someone else in to help me? Do I need to get as my coaching staff, as everyone doing everything that they can? And that way, we put everything down to facilities and stuff like that. There, like, if you look at Derry, then Derry at the start of the season compared to Derry now, Derry changed the manager. They haven't got any new players in that I'm aware of.
No, not that.
The difference between them at the start and the difference between them now. So you look at it from that perspective, then maybe a different manager could do something, better. But
I think you're going back to what your point as well. That happens. There's been a high turnover of players at Harps, which does make it in some ways harder to build something. And I think that might come from the fact too that the management style that we've seen from both playing under Ollie, like it is quite unique. Like, so some players maybe only have a life cycle of 2 or 3 years because they are quite demanding and it's tough going. So, I don't know, it's a tough one, like, but things can, the whole thing about, fresh voice, and that no one's calling for Ollie to leave the job. All we're saying is we should be able to have a conversation without being sort of, this is a disgrace, this is wrong. Because as Keith says, football's about opinions. Columbus came back there. There's more money being spent relative to the past, but it's not more money than the 7 teams ahead of us. There's a big jump in finances to those teams. Well, we'll see. Like, I think, to be fair, was it Fulham bypass Sligo to come to Harp? So, like, I don't know if there's that big of a gap, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't think it's huge. That's from what I'm hearing and from what I know, but
yeah, my screen there's just packed up, and it's probably for the better.
Is your phone gone?
No, I actually had it on the TV there as well. So I got this.
Yeah, well,
so you can watch that.
Osh had it up there on it, but.
Let me see. We've got a few more streams packed up. Bosch reckons the same. You still have yours, Chief, do you?
No, I lost my stream as well. Stream not found, so I'm just trying to refresh it. As you say, Chief, probably a good thing at 4-1. There's not long left.
Yeah. Kyle McCarron makes the point as well. 100% you can question him. And I think that's all that we're doing. All we're doing is questioning. Because, look, if we didn't do that, there'd be nothing on here to talk about. We have to question him. We have to try and figure out what he's thinking, or maybe is he doing the right thing with this? Is he doing the right thing with that? Again, we're not experts. We're just having the conversations. In an environment where everyone's free to have a go and to say what they think. But
exactly.
I think I'm not. Again, I have massive respect for Ollie for what he's done. For the teams that I've been a part of and for the achievements, the things that we've done is absolutely massive. And I put all of it down to him, pretty much. The players that he's able to put together, it's all down to him. But now we're saying, if we're getting into an environment now, we've been a Premier League team now for the last 3 seasons. When do we, can we do something else? Can we put something else in place where, we're moving forward? That's all basically is what I'm asking. And I'm not saying that we haven't been moving forward, because we have, but to take it to the next level. We were able to beat teams, Dundalk. We were able to beat, Waterford. Teams again with all these bigger budgets and stuff like that. They're able to beat Bows, and then we haven't won now. This will be 6. It'll be like 2 wins and 13 or something like that. Is that right, Chief? So
that's it. That one and 6. Like, so no, look, it was a great question from Ronan. I think it was a very fair one, and I think you have to be able to allow to ask the question. Do you know what I mean? So this will probably be tried to be spun in a different way that we're calling for all he said, which we certainly are not, but definitely need to ask the question. But the thing that's uncharacteristic for me about the current sort of form is the goals, is the sort of just poor. Like normally we're harder, we're much more difficult to beat. Like we're getting a couple of clippings now. Like that's 4 down in Dalymount, 4 at Pats. And like the worrying thing is like neither of those teams have had to play that well. It's not been a case of like, whoa, wow, popped off the pitch. They were at it. We never started. We're well in the game at half time. We should have probably got a penalty. Fair enough. We could feel sorry for ourselves that way. But it's 4-1. Game's over after an hour. That's that. I think you maybe touched on it as well. Maybe about players and maybe down in tools quicker than they used to. So it's a tough one. Stream's packed up.
Paddy Braun makes a point here. I'm sick of coming on here and seeing the same negativity week after week. We're a great wee club that serves the community enormously. You have to take the highs of the lows. Mark Farke needs to remember where his loyalties lie. When he came home from Scotland without an arse in his pocket, it was Finn Harps that took him in. The man needs a reality check. Do you know this? Do you know Paddy?
I unfortunately do. I unfortunately do. I can't believe you've given him oxygen. Hey, by reading.
Well, I was wondering why you stepped over that landmine. I was going to highlight it just in case there's a bit of credibility in it. But if you think
look, you know what, Paddy's spot on. So he is. Stick it up. He's spot on. He's damn right. Came back with me tail between me legs, as they say, as a 19-year-old, thinking I was going to make it. That was miles off. But sure, it's all good. It's all good crack. Any replacement of Ollie would, right from day one, see a massive reduction in man hours spent working for the club. There's not a man in the country who would put in the hours per week on Finn Harps than Ollie has weekly for 8 years. Again, Colum, but like you're making points that I totally agree, and there's nobody disputing that. Like all we're saying is just looking at it objectively, bigger picture. Yes, there's always the risk if you change manager that you'll be back in the first division. But like I'd ask you this, say for example Cork, who've had money troubles and that, would their fans swap those European nights, those FAI Cup wins, those league title successes for, years in the doldrums then in the first division or whatever? Like rather than just doing the same thing all the time. Like I don't know, as a Hearts fan I'd love it. I'm not saying we start, biting off more than we can chew, but I would definitely love a couple of years of that, and then maybe if we had to spend another 5 or 6 years or longer in the first division, I'd take it rather than finishing 8th in the Premier Division every year, to be honest. That's my opinion of it. And is Ollie the man to do that? He possibly could well be. He's brilliant at what he does. He's a great manager. But I do think possibly if you want to go to the next level, is there anything wrong with asking if somebody else is, energy levels as well, 8 years, tough going.
Yeah.
Does he have the same energy and enthusiasm for it? So we'll see.
D Spice that comes up here. By the way, folks, I think absolutely brilliant discussion here tonight. Really, really good. People putting in their views, people putting in their frustrations, people again having those opinions and wanting to get them out there. Look, this is a great opportunity for people to come on and to share their views. Great environment to do it. Again, it's all about opinions. It's all about opinion. Who's right? Who's wrong? Who knows? So no, great for people to come on here. We're delighted to get so many people involved tonight. Unfortunately,
but you say I'm always right. Can you say I'm always right? Everything I say, I'm always right.
Yeah, well, that's well.
Yeah. Again, as I called it, I'm just seeing some more comments come on. Ollie's the man for the job, no question about it. Again,
yeah,
misinterpreting what we're saying. Misinterpreting what we're saying. We're wasting our time even saying it now. Just go back. Don't question Ollie. Don't ever dare question it. Like, fucking suck it up, deal with it, take it on the chin. Man's a miracle worker. Every player at Harps is shite. So we shouldn't even be in the league. Fuck it,
at the start of the season, we were having this conversation after the first few weeks, and people saying, same old negativity. We were talking about 4th and 5th, and then we're talking about I think this. I think so. It's not negativity. We're basing our conversations, our opinions on what's happened over the last couple of months, whatever the change has been. So, like, I think that's kind of unfair to say that we're always being negative. We're not being negative. It's kind of hard to be positive at the minute. Somebody highlighted there, a couple of young lads got to run out tonight, got a bit more match experience. Ren really got a start, but other than that, you can't take many positives out of tonight. Yes, early on you were robbed from a penalty. Past that,
Right. I'll read it to you actually, because you can respond to it. Right. The crucial factor in any assessment is the scale of the budget he has and has now. Money has been spent now, but there was very little before. I honestly doubt anyone else would have matched Ollie's record up to last season. This year is only halfway through yet, but they do look like a bottom 3 club now. What do you reckon there? Fair statement from Rob.
Yeah, well, I suppose if you go through the last spoke about it the last 2 months, we don't look great, but then we look up in Tala, we look great, against arguably the best side in the league, so and then what went wrong, and then like young lad. and have become maybe a bit easier, to concede soft goals. That's basically.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely spot on. Who gets Columbus came on again there.
I don't need to get involved. There's enough boys sticking knives in for they without me getting involved here. But you see the point.
But Columbus come on there now and said there's no club of Van Harps in the. Like, we only live hand them out every. That's again, you'd probably have to question: do we need to change the model then? Because what's the point if you're just doing this every season, round and round, saying the same things? You have no money, living hand them out, just keeping our head above water. Surely we can build something that is sustainable and that you can grow.
Yeah.
Because other clubs seem to do it. Like, it's not every single club in the League of Ireland's had absolutely massive investment, and then. We know there's been high-profile clubs that have got in trouble with it, but I don't know. We'll not be able to find the answers tonight. But the comments are flowing, and again, as Keith says, great conversation. That's what it's about. Look, the Allergy Silverware podcast. Me and him played for Harps. We love the club. You all love the club, and that's what we want to have. We want to have conversations. We want people's opinions to be heard. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it. But just want to clarify, me and Karen are not on here calling Ollie's head. All we're asking is to have a bigger conversation about what is next. Are we going to just keep doing the same thing, or can we take the next step? Maybe we can't. Maybe it's an investment issue. Maybe we need the new stadium and better infrastructure and everything else. But hey, we can ask the question. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you've seen any other comments come in there, Karen. I know we're well over 2 hours. We'll wrap it up soon, but.
Yeah, Mary McGinty says, Keith, you're completely agree with you. Well, that's great, Mary. Thanks. Thanks a million. I'm not really that's the only one that stood out to me. So I'm going to go with that one. Cheers, Mary.
I don't even see that. You've just made that up. I don't even see.
Dylan Dory, Felix was right. So, Felix is always right. so
Felix is always right.
Fair play. Robert Love says, this is 100% true. Shocking defensive errors, bad goalkeeping errors, desperate for more own set pieces. That's kind of.
I mean, that's something you can question. That's what I mean. Like, that's something you could say. That's uncharacteristic for Harps to be conceding those goals, as you mentioned, count set pieces, soft goals. Why is that happening? Like, it's not that their squad's a million miles better than us and they're playing us off the pitch. Even there tonight, 3 out of the 4 goals, all avoidable. Well in the game, lost 4-1. So,
see anything else there, Chief? That jumps out to you that you want to try. You're kind of afraid of calling these questions now.
No, I'm afraid to. Nisha O'Farrell, the club needs to switch from the co-op to an annual members model. 100%. Like, a cooperative model is great in one way in terms of protecting the club, but it's not conducive to growing something that might be a little bit bigger than. So, I agree with that. Dylan Doherty agrees with you again. Keith, does anyone agree with me? No, fuck you. Agree with Keith. Something needs to happen to make the club more sustainable. If that's about, I said Forks. He made a mistake. He's corrected himself. Good man, Bill.
He's bad, Chief, when you're crying out for a bit of help there.
Everyone loves you. Absolutely. I'm just a mouthpiece. They're all like, would that fucking Forker ever shut up in the cow and chat?
Angry wee man.
Garbage player.
Brilliant.
Columba Malloy's, and again, you can take that. I've read enough from Columba, but is there any other comments? I know we've given Columba a lot of oxygen there tonight. Although Columba, we appreciate it. Just to say, Columba, great. That's what it's about.
Columbus, fair play. He's here again. He's saying, look, Sligo were able to offer able to raise 100,000. You know, that's a great, you know, for a local club, you know, for the town that supported them. That was superb. Harps haven't got that type of backing. Harps haven't got that type of money raised. I think the Harps raised like maybe 20 or 30 grand at the same idea. Is that right?
I think they did. It was a GoFundMe thing, wasn't it? For for the changing rooms or something.
Again, yeah, that's not the model that you want to try and use either. That's not the way you want to try and, you know, run your club, setting up GoFundMe pages and things like that. There, look, it's worked out for them that time, because they got themselves into serious trouble last season off the back of that, and they were able to turn around and, you know, get things sorted for this year, and are absolutely flying. So
they are.
No, I think we've done really well here, Chief. As you say, we're on for over 2 hours, and as we say, look, great conversation. Everyone adding their bets.
What about this? That's a great comment to finish on. Mary McGinty, Forks, it's the power of the man bun. There it is.
There you go.
That's your man bun, Cowan. Hey, your man bun. That's where all your wee ideas come from.
Well, look, you'll be home now. You'll be home now in a few weeks, and where you'll be able to. I'll be able to give you a few pointers. You know, see if we can do something. You've had the same haircut now since you're 12, so like your dual change. Put it like that.
Well, you stop. Hey, you need to cut the hair. Hey, you're the opposite of Samson. Hey, Samson, once you cut your hair, you lost all your Jeez, you're sharp tonight on any wee slips. Any wee slips at all. I meant Samson, not Samson. Right, okay. Samson. Card Harkin, great show, lads, and good watch. Good man, Harks. Still think he should be involved in the squad.
Yeah, definitely.
To be honest. You're not a nice guy.
But leadership in there times like that, even things aren't going too well, you know, would be definitely what you want to try and turn the tide. Look,